Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today, we have a pretty fun episode for you guys here today. We want you guys to stick around for, so make sure you go and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, Kobe Bryant is my favorite basketball player of all time, right? I think Kobe is one of the three best players to ever play in the NBA. There are a good amount of people that agree with me and a good amount of people that disagree with me. Whatever. But while I do have Kobe Bryant as my favorite player of all time, I do believe that it is undisputable that Michael Jordan is the best player to ever play in the NBA. Period. End of story. To me, it's not really complicated at all. It's not a big deal. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Nothing whatsoever. I mean, he's a GOAT and that's it. But to a certain section of NBA fans out there, it's something that really triggers them. Whenever you start hitting them with these Jordan jabs, these Jordan facts, they really get up in arms about it. And funny enough, we recently produced a short that we posted on our YouTube channel, our Instagram, and our TikTok. And those shorts reached a lot of people, and the overwhelming majority of them were in absolute awe of some of Michael Jordan's accomplishments, like the overwhelming majority of them. But there were still groups out there, little pockets out there of NBA fans that really got bothered by it, right? And they were there trying to, I don't know, it was like a tsunami, and they're trying to like talk over it. Like it was like a stampede, and then one guy wants to stand up, and then like 10 goats just run over him, and then another guy said, well, what about me? And then they're like another 45 goats run him over. But but some LeBron fans were trying to like sleep through the comment section and make a point. And for whatever reason, they're still willing to fight the good fight, man, fight this uphill battle, and they're still out there throwing rocks at the throne. So this morning, while doing some research, I actually stumbled upon a Michael Jordan quote that gave some further insight into the remarkable level of dominance he had over the NBA during his playing days. But before we get into it, this video is brought to you by our sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let me get into this tweet here. Basically, the tweet basically says, Michael Jordan basically says, my best skill was that I was coachable. I was a sponge and aggressive to learn. That's what Michael Jordan had to say about himself as an NBA player. And I think this is an aspect of MJ's career that no one really pays attention to, if I'm being honest with you. Jordan haters always say, my favorite player didn't have such and such coach. So can you imagine if my favorite player had such and such coach, how many championships my favorite player would have? But the fact of the matter is, when Jordan and Phil met, they had never won anything. And that is the reason why it is a very bad argument to make. People that make that argument don't have all the information, right? And usually what they're doing is they're trying to make these arguments based off of people that based off of things that people have said on TV, right? And then obviously their argument, they come up with Swiss cheese arguments, and then they come up here and they try to contaminate the comment section with their arguments. Here's the skinny. Jordan's first coach was Doug Collins, the same coach that coached him when he returned to the NBA as a Washington Wizards. And at the time, Phil Jackson was an assistant coach on the Bulls coaching staff. He was an assistant coach. Phil Jackson had never coached a team to an NBA championship. Hell, he had never coached an NBA team, period. He was never the head coach of an NBA team. And him and Jordan, what actually happened was the two of them won all of those NBA championships together. It wasn't like as if Phil Jackson had won 3 NBA championships. Then he took over the team, and then Michael Jordan benefited from all of the championship experience that Phil Jackson had. And that is why I think it was only possible for Jordan to win when he decided to go back to the quote. He decided to have an open mind and try new things. And in Jordan's case, I think by having an open mind and being coachable, it allowed him to embrace the triangle offense that Tex Winter was the architect of, right? It was a different way of playing basketball. It was something that was foreign to MJ because MJ was used to playing a certain way under Doug Collins, and it was a gamble. I'm sure it was a gamble to him, but it ultimately paid off. But that's just one example of Jordan being coachable and open to try new things. Think about the story of his famous trainer, Tim Grover. Right? Jordan had been used to training a certain way. Tim Grover contacted the Chicago Bulls, basically pitched his philosophy of how he thought MJ should train. And Jordan said, you know what? If it's not going to affect my basketball game, I'm willing to give it a try. That's a person that has an open mind. He decided to try something new. And from that point forward, Tim Grover was his coach. Was his personal trainer for the rest of his career, and he went on to coach NBA athletes like Dwayne Wade, excuse me, and the late and great, Kobe Bryant, right? So there's so many examples in Jordan's career that show that he was a coachable star. He didn't believe like he had all the answers, right? He didn't believe that, right? He just went there and tried new things, right? So when people try to make this argument, they don't really know what they're talking about. They really just have no idea. And let me give you another reason why it's just silly to really dispute the fact that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. It's silly, right? It's really, really silly. Because a lot of people say, well, Jordan was so great, why did he never get out of the first round? Here's the simple fact for the dweebs in attendance. The simple fact is this. For the first 6 years of his career, he didn't play with one single all-star. Jordan had no help, like literally. He wasn't playing with like all-stars that later on people were going to discredit and say, no, he wasn't really an all-star. No, Jordan had no all-star help. And to add further insult to injury to the people still in doubt, from that point forward, Michael Jordan never lost more than 3 games in a row for the next 8 seasons. And he only lost 1 playoff round in 8 years, right? In 8 seasons. So for the people out there trying to make arguments and throw rocks at the stone, man, just rocks at the throne, just give it up. You're wasting your time. You're not convincing anybody, right? You're not convincing anybody. So, I think this is, these are just undisputable facts, and I think the case is closed. So whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you all in the next episode.